Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I of course am the FPL Train, where on this channel we talk all things fantasy football, and there's going to be a lot of fantasy football over the next 2 weeks because the Christmas period is now starting. So game week 17 is where it's the start of the crazy Christmas period where it's going to be back-to-back game weeks. So you get a little bit of a gap between game week 17 and 18. That's just because literally it's Christmas. But who's going to want to be looking at fantasy football literally on Christmas Day? And then after that, it's literally like 1-2 day gaps between 18 19. And then you get a 3 day gap between 19 and 20. But still, it's literally non-stop. It feels like it's going to be non-stop. Not much time to really plan. You've got to be really focused now, because this is where your season can literally crash down, or you could skyrocket up the ranks. So it's pretty much, it's the busiest time of the year. It's the craziest time of the year, but it's probably the most important time of the year as well. So of course in this video we're going to be doing our, talk about possible transfers for game week 17. Before that, of course, we're going to look back on game week 16 and the transfers I recommended. And it wasn't great. It was a poor game week. I mean, unfortunate, but it was a poor one overall. So first player, of course, on here is Levi Colwill of Chelsea. Unfortunately, he came away with just 2 points overall, which is a bit frustrating because honestly, it was looking really good for a clean sheet. And then 90th minute, Brentford go and score a goal, which meant instead of having the clean sheet, he came away with just 2 points overall. So that was really frustrating. But if you did have a Chelsea defender like Colwill, I'd still be buzzing just because of the fixtures going forward. The next player on here, I mean, obviously Martin Odegaard weren't any better, to be honest. I mean, I know he obviously scored one more point than Colwill just because he got that clean sheet bonus point, but I mean, he's just played Everton. You kind of expect him to absolutely smash it. Arsenal was probably absolutely smash it, but it didn't happen. I mean, you're lucky to get that third point as well, because the guy went off in the 62nd minute, which was even worse if you're an Odegaard owner. You would absolutely expect him to smash it against Everton. Especially as well, if you watched the football last night, he did actually get an assist in last night's game against Southampton. So, not Southampton, sorry. Who did Arsenal play last night? They won anyway. Crystal Palace, that was it. He did actually get an assist in that game, which is probably even more annoying if you're an Odegaard owner. But still, if you do have Odegaard, I'd still keep him in your team because the next fixture for Arsenal was pretty decent. And Arsenal are a decent team. And I know they've had a lot of draws this season, but I do expect them to get better. And Odegaard is their main man. I mean, obviously apart from Saka, but obviously Odegaard's the captain. And he's by far their best creative midfielder. And the final player on here is Evan Nielsen, and another player that blanks. So all three guys I recommended for game week 16 blanked, which is really frustrating. Obviously Colwill's minutes away from getting the clean sheet, but yeah, I'd say Evan Nielsen was probably the biggest gamble out of the three, because even Odegaard expected something against Everton, but yeah, obviously he went off early. But Evan Nielsen, I mean, I think the frustrating thing about him was he went off, and the guy who's come on for him was going to score. It was even more frustrating. So I did expect him to score, to be fair, against West Ham. The fact that he didn't was a big shock in all fairness. I did think he was going to score. So if you had got him, sorry about that. I did expect to do much better. It wasn't the case. And he did, unfortunately, blank yet again. Now, obviously, his next game is against United, which isn't great. But United do leak goals. So you never know. He could score there. But yeah, disastrous game week 16, I've got to say. Hopefully, these players for game week 17 turn out much better. So then, game week 17 now, and the first player we've got on here is Aina of Nottingham Forest, a player I recommended during the start of the season when Forest were getting off to that great start to the season. I did say Forest would probably, drop down a bit now after having those difficult fixtures, but, they've not. In all fairness, they've been amazing this season. They're 4th in the league currently right now. Their fixtures going forward, Brentford away, it's a winnable fixture, to be fair to them. Whether they'll get a clean sheet, I'm really not too sure, because Brentford do actually score goals. In my head, though, this game is going to be 0-0. So if you're thinking about getting a Forest defender, go for A9. Now, he's 4.9 million, so he's actually gone up since the start of the season, where he was 4.5 at the start of the season. He did actually drop as well at the start of the season, 4.4, but he's now 4.9. So quite a few people still do own him, and I can see why, because Forest have been really good this season, I've got to say. They've only conceded 19 goals this season. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, Brentford coming up in game week 17. Tougher fixture in game 18 against Spurs, so I'll probably have him on the bench for that game. But 19 and 20, he has got both Everton and Wolves, which is tasty to say the least. Obviously, it's not guaranteed to get clean sheets in those games, but you want him for those two games. 21 is much different. You don't want him at all for Liverpool at home, but Everton and Wolves, I think he can do well, and I do think he'll get a clean sheet as well against Brentford. And who knows, he could even get one against Spurs, because like I just said, Forest have been flying this season. They're currently 4th in the table, looking really good. Only 2 points behind Arsenal as well. Absolutely flying. Spurs way down in 10th, so you could say they are the better team there. And even Brentford down in 11th, so you could say they could get clean sheets in the next 4 game weeks, which would be absolutely crazy. I can't see that, to be fair, but 3 out of 4 I think would be really good, to be fair, for a guy that's just 4.9 million. Now, the midfield change on here that I've got is Iwobi of Fulham. Not Smith Rowe, it's Iwobi. A guy, in my opinion, is massively going under the radar currently right now at 5.7 million. Still an absolute bargain. Obviously, he's 0.2 more expensive than Smith Rowe. But this guy, I think, is totally worth it right now. The fixtures for Fulham coming up are too good to ignore, to be fair. Southampton at home. You've got to have him for Southampton. We've got to have a Fulham attacker, anyway, for Southampton at home. He's only 5.1% owned as well, by the way, so not many people are currently owning him right now. It's another advantage. He's got more goals than he has, well, should I say, Emmanuel Smith-Rowe. He's got 5 goals this season. He's got 3 assists as well, so he's actually got more attacking returns than Smith-Rowe this season. Southampton, like I've just said, in 17, you've got to have an attacker for that one. Yes, 18 is going to be tough. I put him on the bench probably for that. Then you've got Bournemouth, Ipswich and West Ham all to come. I think Fulham have got a great Christmas run coming up. So you need an attacker. A lot of people are going for Smith Rowe or Raul Jimenez. Not many people are talking about Iwobi, who, like I've just said, has got 5 goals and 3 assists. That's 8 returns this season. Definitely going under the radar. Definitely worth having a look at. Especially as well when you look at the minutes as well. Raul Jimenez gets subbed off for Muniz. Smith Rowe's getting subbed off early in most games. Or in some games, he's not even getting started. He's coming off the bench. Iwobi is starting every fixture. Playing 90 minutes in most games. Not all, but most games. One player you've got to be looking at. Not many people own him. He's scoring goals. Great fixtures coming up. I think this guy would be great to have in your team. And finally then, with the forward change, it's got to be Nicholas Jackson, of course. As a player who, to be fair, I have been ignoring all season. He's 29% owned now. I've not even realised it. 8.2 million, so he is kind of on the expensive side. But I can understand why everybody's looking at him now. I mean, I've probably just got last season stuck in my head where he kept missing chances after chances. But this season, and getting yellow cards, of course. This season, he has been phenomenal. Well, he's not phenomenal. He's been amazing. He's only got 4 yellow cards this season. No, in all seriousness. He's got 9 goals and 4 assists, which is amazing. That's 13 returns and 15 starts. That's really impressive in all fairness. And like I said, it keeps going. It's been going under the radar. Obviously, he did really well in the last game week against Brentford. Got a goal there. But the fixtures, look at that. Everton away, Fulham at home, Palace. No, why did I say Palace? Ipswich away, then Palace away, and Bournemouth at home. 5 really good fixtures. Chelsea have got a good run of fixtures coming up over the Christmas period. He's a guy I'm seriously trying to figure out really how I can get him in my team. If I want him in my team for 17, I'm going to have to take possibly a hit. But I can understand why everybody's going for him. I'm looking at going for him. Whether I'll go for a hit or not, I'm not so sure. But the fixtures he's got are, really good. He starts pretty much every game for Chelsea. He does go off early at times, but you can understand why, because obviously Chelsea got 1,000 players. But the fact is, he starts week in, week out. Great fixtures coming up. He's definitely somebody, especially when you look at, let's say you got Cunha like me, his fixture, good run of fixtures, is now coming up to an end. So he's obviously a straight swap, which is great. Obviously, the price difference is, it means you have to take somebody else out as well. But he's definitely somebody I think you need to get in your team sooner rather than later. So that is it then for this video. Those are the 3 players I'm going to be recommending. Aina, Iwobi and Nicholas Jackson. 3 players I think will do really well over the Christmas period. Let me know what you think of these 3 players I'm recommending ahead of Game Week 17. Let me know what players you're looking at instead in Game Week 17 and what players we should be looking at instead. And also, before you go, please do not forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.